8:13. 8:13. Hey, hey. 8:13. That is my birthday, 8:13. Okay. Popping on here real quick. I just did my call 1 of my Life After Narcissism Masterclass series, and I wanted to just share with you a little bit about, I actually offered the call to anybody who wanted to jump on today. It was for free. So I want to just jump on here real quick and give you a little glimpse of what that looked like. Hey, Terry and Harry, and Kathy, hi. So the Masterclass series, like I said, it started tonight. It's running every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm covering all of the topics that you always hear me talk about. So tonight's topic was toxic love to self-love. How do you get from these bad relationships, these toxic relationships, into loving yourself and getting back to who you are? And that's always what I talk about with my clients, is really just how do we get back to who we are? How do we heal the shit and get back to who we are? Because who we are is love, forgiveness, truth, and trust. And those are the 4 core components that I always thread through all of my calls and I talk to my clients about. So that's what I covered on the call tonight. We talk first in this order: self-love, forgiveness, truth, and trust. And the 2 biggest obstacles in our way of healing after these types of relationships is trust and fear. Fear of getting back out there, fear of, am I going to repeat this again, the same thing, and trust. I really screwed it up, so I don't trust myself, or I don't trust men, or I don't trust women because of the experiences that I've had. Thank you, David and Bobby, for the likes. So those are the 2 biggest obstacles in the way of healing from these types of relationships. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Marilyn. Hey, Elka. Hey, Laurel. So the next call, which will be next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, all calls are recorded. They're on Zoom, so you get the recorded version. And the next one we're going to talk about is trust. So I'm going to dive really deep into how do you trust yourself. Actually, what I do is, before I even talk about how do you trust yourself, I talk about how you were born trusting. Okay, remember, this is why we teach the kids not to go with the creepy guy with the lollipop, because we were born trusting. We have to teach kids not to trust. But what happens is meanwhile, we teach kids not to trust themselves, not to trust a lot of situations, which can turn into, like, it's the snowball effect. So the first thing that I do is I explain, let's get down to the bottom of where it all began. How is it that we were born trusting, but we don't trust? So once that's explained in little bite-sized pieces, digestible pieces, then we can go into, this is how you created this in your life, or this is how this happened in your life. And then we can dissect that and go into, now this is what you do to trust yourself, to start to trust yourself, right? It's all these pieces that come together. But I always like to first share with everybody, like, how did this happen? Let's go back to the beginning of how this happened so we can fully understand why and how. So next week's call on the Masterclass series is going to be, how do I trust myself? That's the title of it. How do I trust myself? Especially when you've been through this and you're just like, you know, I'm just going to be the cat lady now. I'm just going to get a bunch of cats from the SPCA, and I'm going to be really happy with my little life and my cats, and that's going to be my life. Well, we're human, and just because you're human, hey, Karen, thank you for the, oh my God. Mwah, mwah, mwah. So because I know you're human, I know your love, and I know you want love. So when I hear this from women that say, I just want cats and I'm going to be happy. No, you don't. That's just because you've been so hurt, you've been through so much crap for so long that you feel like you want to just be with cats and not live a life. But the truth is, you want a lot more things than just a lonely life with cats, because cats are great, but not as a companion, not as a spouse. We don't want a cat as a spouse, okay? Hey, Karen, how are you? Thanks for joining. Hey, Val. Val, I just saw you, Val. Hey, Donna. So that's what we covered in the first hour of the masterclass. We literally went through those 4 components. I mean, obviously, I can't dive super deep into it because we only have a short amount of time with each other, and I covered 4 components, but I gave like the topic, the glimpse of those 4 components and why I teach that to my clients. Why do I teach self-love, forgiveness, truth, and trust to women who've been through toxic relationships? Why? Because these are the 4 things that were a lack of, and that's how we got into those relationships. So once you can go back, right? Go back to the beginning to how you got into these disempowering relationships, and then have that piece all figured out. It's like I like to put, I view it as like putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And that's what I do. So the next call, which will be next Wednesday, if you'd like more information on the masterclass, please PM me and let me know. It's 6 weeks of us together diving deep into these topics. So the next one is going to be all about trust. I'm only going to talk about trust. So today was toxic love to self-love. So they have to have all those 4 components to get from toxic love to self-love. If you don't, if one of them's missing, it doesn't, it's not going to work. Forgiveness is one of the biggest keys to healing. You have to forgive your past. You have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive the injustice that was done to you. You have to forgive. So I dove into the forgiveness, and I believe we get into forgiveness because that's one of the biggest. Yeah, we do on the second to last call. So the calls will be September 25th, October 2nd, October 16th, October 23rd, October 30th, and November 5th. So that's the 6 weeks that we will be together in the masterclass. So if you would like more information on the masterclass, Life After Narcissism Masterclass, I would be honored to share with you about the masterclass. And if you want to jump on it, then please, I invite you to. Again, tonight I did it as a complimentary, just to like get people like a little bit like, I'm just doing some more, I'm listening to my coaches and I'm listening and doing what they say, and it's all about giving more and more value. So that's the reason why I did that. So forgiveness is so healing for ourselves. It is, but it also, Karen, can be so challenging, right? I mean, you deal with this with your clients. Karen Stevenson, she helps women who are in the relationship, where I help women who are out of the relationship. But we have similar audiences. We have similar tribes. We have similar clients. So Karen talks about forgiveness too, right? This is all the pieces that need to be taken care of. So I know, Karen, that you get this with your clients too, where there's a challenge there. There's a struggle to forgive, like the shitty situation or the person who did this, and even for ourselves, right? We have our own stuff. I talked about this on the call tonight. Nobody's perfect, and if anybody tells you they're perfect, they're lying. Yeah. So yeah, it's such a huge component. And in the Mastery of Love, this is where I learned how important forgiveness is. In the book The Mastery of Love by Miguel Ruiz, he dives deep into the whole forgiveness piece, and the way that he describes it is so like, it was just like, wow, I get it. I really get it. So I try to reiterate the way he explained it, like all those bite-sized pieces about forgiveness, because it is challenging to go, okay, wait a minute. So you're telling me that somebody who's been sexually abused, or somebody who was a child and was abused in any which way, shape, or form, that they have to forgive their abuser? That's where the challenge comes in, because there's a disconnect there. Like, I don't understand why I have to forgive somebody who did such awful things to, you know, yeah. Karen says, holding grudges, thinking they are making the other person suffer. Instead, we are suffering. Absolutely. And listen, when you forgive, you release yourself from your own prison, your own internal prison. Yeah, and you're exactly right, Karen. That's the key. That is the key. If I, say for example, was mad at Karen and I wanted to just like be so pissed off at her, which I wouldn't, I love her, but I'm just saying as an example, then Karen doesn't know that I'm all over here and clenching and not forgiving her. She's going about her day. She's doing her thing. So that's why, yeah, that's why you release yourself from your own prison when you forgive. This forgiveness is not about giving permission to the other person and going, okay, your behavior, I accept your behavior, your shitty behavior, your bad boy behavior, like all of the shit you did. I'm gonna like excuse it. That's not what forgiveness is about. Forgiveness is for you. It is for you to release yourself from that clenching, dark, you know, contracting energy that you hold within your body. This is what I talked about on the call tonight. Within yourself, which can easily cause a dis-ease in the body. So everything is connected. We are all connected. Everything is connected. So that's why when you release yourself from that prison, then you no longer have that dark, clenched, you know, tight, constricting energy inside of you. All right, my loves. I am so excited to do this masterclass. It really like, whoop, thank you, Karen. You're the best. Thank you. And again, if you want to learn more about the masterclass, again, the next call that we do next Wednesday is about trust. It's a 6-week course. If you missed the first one, that's okay. You'll get the recording. And we're going to be together until November 5th. Whoop, whoop. All right. Talk to you later.